Hello, Christine. Welcome to our parenting channel. I'm so happy to be here and I'm so excited because I've got my friend Tenika who's going to be here with us today, and we're doing like an informal interview all about how we can manage as a single parent. So hello, Tenika.
Hi guys.
So for all our single parents out there, single mums and dads, tell us how it is that you, because I'm so inspired by you, like I've met you now and you always seem like, I know we're not perfect and I'm not trying to put you on a high pedestal, but you seem on it. You seem like you're managing it in a sense. There's a balance. You've got a balance going on in your life. So I just wanted you to share how you balance and cope with being a single mum. So tell us how you organize yourself around your career. So I know that you're working, like you mentioned, you're a pediatric nurse. So how do you manage that balance? Because I know it could be a bit overwhelming for some parents when they have to go back to work as single parents and they're taking their child to nursery. How do you manage that? So
yes, it is very much a challenge. Sorry, were you going to add to the question?
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you as well, how do you manage everything financially? Because I know that there's some parents who ask for that advice. They're like, okay, how do I organize and budget as a single parent? Like I need some advice on that. What would you say your key thing is?
Points are, so in terms of career-wise, I really, during the time that I was on maternity leave, I made sure I looked at checked out the policy with a fine-tooth comb so that I knew exactly how to sort of plan coming back to work, because sometimes they're not, the employers are not always as forthcoming, not in a bad way, but once you're off, it's easy to kind of forget you unless you make it a point of going up to visit them and let them know what your hopes are for coming back to work. And I did it well in advance. So I came back to work in September, but by May I had already planned, how I was going to come back to work, what hours I wanted. Obviously, you don't always get what you want or what you need. Like if you want flexible working, things like that. But it's good to start the conversation with your employer as soon as possible. Once you're well, health-wise, after having your baby, I think it's best to start thinking about it. I started looking at nurseries when my son Aston was, I think he was about 4 or 5 months old, because the waiting lists are really long. So I'd say make sure you sort out your, start thinking about your childcare, back to work as early as you can, and open up those lines of communication with your employer so that they kind of know where they stand with you, to set things up for you when you come back. What else? That career-wise, and it worked for me doing everything in advance, because I did get reduced hours. I came back doing 1 day less a week, and I was able to get him a nursery placement well before he started, and get this financial support that I needed for that as well, because if you leave that till late, then it becomes a problem. If you do need financial support, because childcare is very expensive, especially like private nurseries and stuff like that, you can then end up in a situation where you may not be able to go back to work when you plan to, and obviously you don't get paid. You only get paid maternity leave up until a certain point. So within the NHS, it's 9 months you get paid, and then after that, if you want to take mat leave any longer than that, you're not going to get paid for it, and there's going to obviously be a lot of financial implications for you if you have a lot of bills to pay or direct debits and things that you can't necessarily cancel. And also, I also looked at things, cancelling certain things. So I cancelled some of my Sky subscription. It's just little things like that, but it adds up. And I had to think, do I really need this? Okay, if I don't need it, it's got to go. I did keep like Netflix, for example. I didn't completely deny myself, but there's certain things that I had to really cut down on.
Yeah.
And also, you said about financially, one thing I do find that's really helped me is buying things well in advance. So say for example, children's winter coats, because they're quite expensive, they can be, and getting all the shoes. So my daughter obviously back to school in September, so she's back to school, and I've got to go back to work, and he's got to go to nursery. So that's a whole load of things that I've got to get, isn't it? I get all the supplies for nursery, I've got all her uniform and stationery. So I started doing that like 2 months before. So I got the coats on sale. In summer, they do your winter stuff. They do winter stuff at cut price. So I got their winter coats from Zara for like £20, £40, whereas it would have been double price, if I had waited until winter to get it. So get things well in advance. is one thing I'd say. If you need to, like clothing, things that you can get in advance. Obviously, things like milks and stuff, I can't always stock up too much on because they're expiry dates. But definitely, clothing you can buy in advance. If people ask you if there's anything you need, if people ask you if there's anything you need, then I would say ask them possibly if they could get your child something that's past their age range, so that when they get to that age range, they've got it there already. I think that's probably about it. And I do stock up a lot as well with shopping. I will not too much, but try and make sure that I've got everything I need in advance. You have to be a lot really organised, I think. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because I've got another video on how to how to budget, how to save money, and then I do mention buying items that are on sale in advance. Exactly what you said, which is just funny how you mentioned. Yeah. Right track. It's so much cheaper when you do that. Okay, so now the next thing I want to ask you is, how do you do? Because already as parents, whether we're single parents or not, I know, especially me, I can sometimes put a lot of pressure on myself to get things not perfect. Because for me, I'm not trying to be a perfect parent, but trying to get things right. And I might put pressure on myself and like, oh my gosh, I haven't done this and I should be doing this, and should as a parent. How do you manage your own demands that you put on yourself, and then how do you manage the demands that society puts on you to be kind of like to be responsible, and you are responsible for your child, which we know, but there is this kind of demand on parents. How do you manage for yourself and in society as well, especially as a single parent? Yes,
because there are lots of stigmas and expectations, and sort of like, take for example, as a single parent, then people automatically assume that maybe you might not be able to manage, and when they see that you're doing, say for example you're breastfeeding, it's sort of like, oh, it's a surprise, just because they expect that you can't manage. But parenting is a challenge for everybody, regardless of their background or their social status or their marital status. It makes a difference when you have more support, yes, but everybody still has challenges when it comes to parenting. So I think even things like, they've got this Peanut app, it's like there's people from all around the world on it, and you just being on something like that, it helps you to see that, okay, you're not on your own in the way that certain issues you might have. It helps you to not to put so much pressure on yourself, because you see certain people from different backgrounds or different maybe they're not single parents, they're married, and there's still the same sort of difficulties that you're having, so you realize that on your own. So that's one thing I'd say that helps me to kind of not fall under the expectations of society. And when it comes to, in terms of pressures that I put on myself, I think I'm kind of person that does constantly talk to myself in my head. I'm sure a lot of people do that. And sometimes you just have to kind of, I don't know, give yourself a little wake up call and just be like, well, I am only human. Like, it's like positive affirmations. I am only human. Are my children healthy? Are they doing well? Yes, sometimes you might need to step back and just take a breather. But also, I think avoiding people and conversations where if you know that a particular person in your life is specifically quite judgmental, maybe sometimes avoid having certain conversations with them. I wouldn't say you have to avoid them completely, but if you know that, I don't know, they're going to be judgmental about something to do with your parenting, there's nothing wrong with people giving you constructive criticism and things like that. But if this person tends to be quite negative, then if there's a certain issue that you have and you know that you're not going to get constructive advice from them, then I'd say don't talk to them about it. That makes sense. Like certain conversations or plans and things that you're doing, you just need to keep certain people out of it, to be blunt.
No, I completely get that. It's so important, because it can just drain you of energy when you're, and then you start thinking like they do, and before you know it, you're in this vicious cycle of just negativity. So definitely,
exactly.
Be around positive people who make you feel good. And if some of those negative people are your family members, then I always say reduce the contact if you can, or don't, because
listen, I have, and I don't feel no way about it.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes we a bit overrated family demands.
Yeah, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with people giving you constructive feedback. Nobody's perfect. If I am doing something that I could do better, I would actually want people that are close to me to feel comfortable to say to me, oh, perhaps it's better if you do it this way or something. I'm not averse to being to people giving me advice, because if you're somebody that nobody can say anything to, you're never going to learn. But it's just that balance, isn't it, that you're looking for. You don't want somebody that's always got the worst case scenario to give you, or something negative to always say.
Yeah, I completely get that. Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I think we've covered quite a few important elements, and I just wanted you to give us lastly like a bit of your take on parents, in particular mums, who feel that they are with their partner, so they do have a partner at home, but they literally feel like they are a single mum, not because the partner is doing anything, you know, not in a negative way, but because the partner's always at work, or you know, the demands of work are very, very high, so they're not at home. And I know I've got some friends who feel like I'm a single mum. What can you say for them, and what could they do to try and remedy that feeling, to overcome it, because they can find it quite overwhelming?
Yeah, there's something that I learned, like I said again, being on that, you know, and even people that I know, it's quite a problem for a lot of people. You know, they aren't single, but a lot of the parenting responsibilities falls on them, and again, it's not fully done. It's because the other parent is at work, and so that the financial side of things is on their shoulders. And so when they come home from work, they're tired, haven't got energy to do, you know, the other bits. But sometimes there's to be where sometimes mums feel like they're being told that they're not doing anything. Oh, you know, because you're at home, you're not doing anything, which is obviously not true, because they're doing the other side of things. It is a difficult situation, but I would say communication is very important in that situation. Because you can't get anywhere with, you know, effective communication with your partner. Maybe seeking advice from older people who have been through the same situation, married couples, or, you know, their parents. As long as it's going to be somebody that's going to give constructive advice. And I say people who have been there and done that and been in a similar situation would help, because I've never been in that situation. I can't give advice that's from, like, I know what it's like, but I think speaking to people that have would help. And again, like I said, even though it's not real life, being on an app like Peanut, you hear other people that they're going through the same thing. They also give advice, or you can, on that app, you can post like incognito, so nobody knows who you are, and you can ask advice without, then then it's like you're not being judged, because nobody knows who you are, and you're putting it on the table. This is the situation. How did you get through? What's your suggestions? And just remember as well that it's a temporary situation while your child is young, or until you are back to work, or until they're school age. This is how it is at the moment. It's not something that is going to be forever, but it's very important now for our family, building up our family, and to kind of convey that message across to your partner as well, that yes, this is how it is at the moment, but it's not how it's always going to be. I don't know if that's... Yeah,
that's an important point, because it can feel like there's no end to it, but we should... It's good to remember that it's not going to be forever. Our children are going to get a bit older, and at one point the dad or the mum, if it's the other way around, will be able to partake more. It will change. So I think that's a really important point. And to go out there and speak to people who have gone through something similar, loved ones, that's a great idea as well. And I'm going to leave the link to Peanut so that you can go check out the app, because I love it as well. It's so good.
Yeah, it's
good. It's like parents, mums that go on there and just ask for advice and tips, and
and it's people from all around the world, so you get a very variety of opinions and experiences. Brilliant.
Thank you so much. We've covered quite a bit here, so I really hope that inspires you. Single parents out there, I don't like labels, but I'm just going to say single parent. If you are a single parent, know that you are not alone, that it doesn't have to be gloomy as society might label it as. You can still be super mom and super dad and enjoy your parenting journey. There's always ways to get through it and maneuver. So if you need to watch this video again to get those tips, write them down because they're nice and juicy and super simple. But make sure you're taking care of your mental well-being, your social well-being, and that you're surrounding yourself with people who will be positive around you. Sorry, Tenika, go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just wondering if I could just add a point as well. Is people who you trust and you know well, they're more willing to help you than you might sometimes think. As for me personally as well, as a single parent, you always think, oh, I don't want to cause people inconvenience, and you know, I don't want to. Like recently, I went out for a night out for the first time. My son's 10 months old. That's a long time to wait, and you know, I have some good people that would have been willing to have him, you know, earlier, but it was more me again putting that, like you said, putting that pressure on myself to try and do everything and just get on with it. But actually, no, you need a break sometimes, and it doesn't have to always be. It doesn't have to be all the time, but at times you need a break so you can be more effective in your parenting and just in your life in general, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So you do just don't feel bad to ask them when you need it.
Oh, that's so true. That's such a good point, because I do that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait. I don't want to bother people.
Yeah.
Right. Our friends, they're waiting.
Yeah.
Friends, loved ones, they're waiting for us to ask.
They want, yeah.
They want to help.
Yeah. They would love it. Yeah.
When my friends do mention it, I'm like, they're like, I'll babysit whenever you're ready. It's like, come on, I'm waiting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were waiting for me to ask. Okay. Woo.
Yeah. Because they don't want to. They feel like they don't want to be forceful, but they would love to have some time, especially ones that don't have children. They would love to have some time, like with a baby. It's nice because they can give them back as well.
Exactly. It's a win-win. Alrighty, so if you've got any further questions to ask Tenika, leave them in the comments below. She will answer all of them, or if there's anything you want to ask away. Thank you so much for tuning in.
You're welcome.
Your parenting journey. Have an amazing day. Any last thoughts, Tenika?
Yes, I just say try and stay as positive as you can. Be happy. Get some sunlight whenever you can. Listen to some music or do something that you enjoy, and just be happy when you can. And if you're not happy, it's always good to recognize that as well, and self-care.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your wise words. I feel inspired. I'm always inspired by this one.
Thank you. Thank you. And you too, likewise.
Oh,
take care.
Thank you. And I'll see you soon, guys. Best wishes. Mwah.
Bye.